My name is Bob Taylor, and I'm your host for this segment of Our Ventura TV. I'm here today with my guest, Tara Carruth from the County of Ventura. Well, thank you for being with me, Tara.
Thanks, Bob, for having me.
All right, now I did read your card and I did read your title. It was a little more than I could handle. What is your title?
Yeah, so I work in the County Executive Office, and I'm the Program Management Analyst for the Countywide Continuum of Care.
Program Management Analyst.
Yes.
So you analyze all the data that comes in on the different programs for the Continuum of Care.
Right.
And what is the Continuum of Care's focus?
The Continuum of Care's mission is to prevent and end homelessness in Ventura County. There are a lot of other activities that fall under that mission, but that's the ultimate goal.
Okay, so with that, you trying to find homes for homelessness, or trying to find a place for homelessness to sleep. Because it's more than just homes.
Right. It's a continuum of care.
It's a continuum of thing, right?
Right.
That's where that title came from.
Right.
Okay, so whether you want to or not, in your job, you're required to know a lot more nonprofits than just you guys.
That's correct. That's correct.
So you work with
yes,
a lot of
I work in the
ones.
County Executive Office and work with all the county agencies, including the Human Services Agency and their variety of programs, behavioral health, other healthcare agency programs, and others, AAA, and then we also work with a variety of nonprofits and other service organizations, faith-based organizations in the community, everything from a food pantry to a day service program to an emergency shelter, transitional housing, and then supportive housing program. And then we have, all the other services that people might need either while they're homeless or once they get housed and need stability. So educational and workforce programs, ongoing healthcare needs, family-related services, children's services, daycare, all of those things are part of what people need to stabilize and get housed and stay housed.
Basically, housing is very important.
Yes.
But it's just one step of a whole bunch of other things that have to happen for somebody to not be homeless, really.
Well, and I think of it as the key ingredient that's needed. All the other things help support people there, but it's really, really challenging for people who are having different struggles in their life, whether that's going to school, working, or they have other social needs, whether that's behavioral health or addiction, without a safe place to be, whether that's shelter on a temporary basis or housing on a permanent basis, you're really going to struggle to make your appointments, to follow through with your curriculum, for children to do their homework, unless you have a safe place to be. So that's why we bring together all these partners as part of our coalition in efforts to work together to help people.
All right, I got a question.
Okay.
Which may take a little bit of thought. When somebody finally gets a house to live in, I'm not going to say a house, a place to live, is that the beginning of the story, or is quite often at the end of the story?
It is.
I could see how it could be either way.
It's almost the middle of the story. So the goal for us is to make people's time that they're actually homeless as brief as possible. We say we want homelessness to be rare, brief, and non-recurring. So,
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And so we want it to be as brief as possible so that getting into your housing, whether that's a shared housing situation, renting a room, your own apartment, or a family home, whatever that looks like, that's where we hope that they start really thriving, engaging in services, and the success story is starting from there.
Okay, so because I've known a lot of people that needed services before they could get the home, so that would almost be an ending for them there, but a lot of people don't get anywhere until they get that home, and then it's kind of the beginning for them.
And so we have this approach, it's a national best practice, it's been talked about for a long time, called Housing First. And ultimately, that means it's really, really challenging for people on the streets
Yes.
to engage and be productive in the services they need. If you can get them the housing unit, you can help them with
Right.
treatment and other services they may need.
Yeah, I do know, I have a friend who's actually homeless in Thousand Oaks. He's got a small job, and he's applied at many mansions, but he got a little electric bike, and he goes to work, and I mean, it's just a part-time thing.
Right.
And he goes home and has a place, and I shouldn't say this, but he sleeps in where he works,
Okay.
behind the place,
Right.
but it's not a house.
Sure.
But it's a warehouse. And he's always got a big smile on his face, always, and he tells me where he goes for meals. He goes to different churches at nights for
Yeah.
meals. And if I can get to this place on Saturday, and then I got to be here at so-and-so time to take a shower.
It's a full-time job to be homeless.
It really is. And I've never seen anybody with a better attitude of being homeless. I mean, he saved all this money that he could and ended up buying a little
Right.
bike. And
Wow. Yeah, there's some very inspiring stories. We have a group in Ventura associated with the Unitarian Universalist Church called Lift Up Your Voice, and they have started helping people who are homeless to tell their stories.
Oh, that's good.
Because
It makes it personal.
Well, it does make it personal. A lot of times in my work, I talk about numbers a lot, and hearing and seeing people tell their stories is really impactful and helps you to have that personal connection and understand how truly most of us are a paycheck away or a catastrophe away
Right.
from being homeless.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Now, it's kind of tough, I guess, unless there's a bunch of you, and I know there's only a couple of you, because you have to give those numbers out to groups so they know how large the
Right.
problem is,
Right.
but you also need that personal story for people to take it personally.
That's right. Yeah, it is challenging, but what we do, so it's myself and one other staff member in our office that are staff to the Continuum of Care, manage funding, contracts, work with our service providers, and then the Continuum of Care board and our committees. But what we do is we have people who volunteer or work with regional task forces. So Ventura has a social services task force. Simi Valley has a task force on homelessness. Different groups around the county that can be surrogates and help us disseminate that information in
collaborate
each of their
collaborate
communities.
everything.
Right.
Okay, now, so if you were to grab a handful of marbles, you're the black marble or the red one, but only one of many things that got to get taken care of for that individual. And we have everything for that individual if they're willing to hunt them all down. All right, we just got to keep working on that.
Right. Yeah, we just continue to try to coordinate the efforts of our service system and our partners, maximize the resources that we do have, and then advocate for the resources that we do need to meet people's needs in the community.
You know, as far as we do an annual survey of homelessness every January, and I'm sure you need a lot of volunteers for that.
We do.
Okay, we'll do it right now, and then I got a question. How do people contact you if they want to get involved with that?
So they can go to our website, Ventura COC, like continuumofcare.org, and there's information there that'll direct you. United Way of Ventura County, their Volunteer Ventura County is the platform we use to
Okay.
sign up.
Okay.
And a lot of our service organizations also put volunteer opportunities on Volunteer Ventura County.
Right.
So there are two different ways to seek out information to get involved.
And no matter what you're doing in a nonprofit realm, well, not saying about what you're doing, but most of what you're doing is eventually getting back to helping with housing and stuff, because it's such a big
That's
issue
correct.
these days.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so if you were going to, we have the group that's working strictly on veterans,
That's right.
and we have a group working on field workers. Are there other groups working on just certain pockets of individuals to bring it all
Right.
together?
So through the Continuum of Care and our committees and work groups, we do have specific work groups focused on subpopulations of people that are homeless. Veterans is one. We've had an ongoing goal to end veteran homelessness in Ventura County.
Boy, that's so
we
important.
have the vouchers that we need we need landlords who are willing to accept the vouchers. And you can also contact us on our website if you know landlords that are willing to help veterans.
Let's take a step at that.
Yeah.
Is the voucher only worth so much money, or
It is.
so that's what it is?
Partially.
Somebody doesn't want to take it because it's only $800 and they want $1,200 or
Right.
something like that.
Right.
But it's not a cash flow thing because they're still going to get their money on a regular basis.
Guaranteed rent and comes with services through the VA and other local organizations that are helping that veteran. And yeah, so some of it is landlords can get more money beyond the voucher, and some of it is the reluctance to serve this population.
All right, so do you find, like when you are doing your homeless survey, do you feel you get all the homeless?
Yeah, so it's a snapshot, one day of homelessness in Ventura County. We do a couple different things where we look at that data. Last year, 2018, we did have almost a 13% increase, so it was significant. But then we also look at who's touching our service system. That number is a little higher. Over the course of the year, 2 to 3 times the number of people. So it was just under 1,300 that we counted in January. Then you have 2 to 3 times that in your service system that are seeking services. We know there are some people that haven't touched the service system yet. And then we look at other, healthcare agency information and information from the school districts that use this broader definition of homelessness. Then you get into more, about 18,000 people last year had housing insecurity. They're doubled up, they're paying for a motel, they don't have a permanent place. So it sort of ranges from this literal homeless of 1,300 people to on one day versus 2 to 3 times that over the course of the year, to all these people that are at risk, going close to 20,000 or more of people that are not stably housed, right? They're living right on the edge, or they're sharing housing or paying for a motel and not in a permanent place.
You can not be on the streets but still not have a home.
That's
basically
correct.
what you're saying.
That's correct.
You're hanging your hat somewhere wherever you possibly can, and you're fortunate you're not sleeping on the streets.
That's right.
Especially in this kind of weather and stuff.
Right.
All right, we have 1 minute left.
Okay.
Can you think of anything that we didn't touch on that you think our audience should know?
Housing is the most critical component to addressing homelessness, and homelessness is impacting all of our communities in Ventura County.
And every one of us personally in one way or another.
Exactly. And so finding ways to get involved, whether it's through our group, whether it's through a church, paying attention to what your city council's talking about, or the county board of supervisors, being engaged in the issue if you care about whether the negative impacts of homelessness or the compassionate side of wanting to help people. It's important to get involved, get educated, and participate in the conversation in your community.
Okay, now do you do talks like Rotary groups or Optimist groups, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
So people would contact you through the website?
Yes,
say,
absolutely.
"We'd like to
They
have a speaker
can
talk."
reach out to us, and we are happy to have, I'm happy to come if I'm able, or make sure one of our delegates is able to participate.
Thank you very much for being with me
Thank
today,
you,
Tara.
Bob.
Well, my name is Bob Taylor. I've been here today with my guest, Tara Carruth, from the County of Ventura. Until next time, thank you very much.